Hi and good morning. It's Cliff here from the Shiatsu Centre. Thank you for tuning in again for our regular class. Kat's with me. Remember, she did that lovely session last week. She's just going to be looking after you in the chat today. So just say hi and just say where you're from, where you are, and then we'll get straight into it. Okay, good. Now, you remember last week, we asked you whether you felt more balanced at the end, and like 99% of you felt more balanced. And there are a few people who just felt a little bit not quite so balanced, or actually felt worse after doing the exercises. And I thought I'd just take a little bit of time today to explain why that can happen and what we can do to move on from that if we get a kind of reaction, because that's the kind of thing that can happen with Shiatsu as well. When you have come for a session for Shiatsu, sometimes you feel kind of a bit weird afterwards because there's processes have started. And usually that means there's some frozen, usually emotional stuff that's frozen in your body that's been released or starting to move, and you kind of go through those emotions. So we're going to explore that a little bit, and I'm going to share some ideas for you of how to work through that, and also how to prevent you getting into that freeze state in the first place. Okay, so let's get straight on with it and find out how you're doing. We're going to find out how you're doing. We're going to tune into the burners again. I'm going to relate those to the three zones. We're going to do some themes, and I'm going to show you some techniques to stop you getting into that freeze state. And then we're just going to mention how we can support you if you need more help by booking a one-to-one session. Okay, so let's find out how you are, how you're doing. So I'm going to launch a poll just to find out how you're coping as a group. Let's hope that with all these exercises and these exercise classes that we're kind of like slowly moving into an area where you're feeling like you're coping a little bit better. Okay, so here we go. Would you like to just put your vote on the poll, and we'll find out how you're doing. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so we've got only 13% of you feel stressed or very stressed, kind of 18% in neutral, and the vast majority of you are actually coping well now, which is really great to see. Okay, so let's keep you in that healthy zone of coping well, and let's help those 13% of people who need help to get out of that stress feeling, maybe get just feeling a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more able to cope. Okay, remember this chart? This is a really useful chart to just see how you are, how your nervous system is doing. What we ideally want is we want to be in the green zone most of the time, and that's where you feel socially engaged. Difficult, isn't it, in COVID, because you obviously can be isolated there. And that gives you, your nervous system's working really well. You feel joyful in the present. Groundedness, that's a healthy groundedness, not being too heavy. Remember last week we worked on that, feeling too heavy. And feeling open and compassionate and mindful. And that means your ventral vagal system, which evolved for mammals to communicate with each other and to create a social environment around them, means that's working well. And that's obviously been challenged by the whole COVID thing. Now, if we get stressed, what happens is we move into the sympathetic nervous system area, and that's the fight or flight zone. And that's where you saw the panic buying, you saw people becoming more aggressive. And that's just the nervous system trying to adapt to the stress. It's nothing to be ashamed of at all. It's just the way that we work. All of us work like that, okay? And that can either lead to like frustration and irritation and anger and rage, which is more the active side, or more worry, anxiety, and then fear, and then more like a panicky feeling if it's more of a yin type of thing. Okay, so it can work either way. Okay, that's a natural thing that we've used, that we've learned how to do over evolution to help us get out of dangerous situations. Now, what can happen also is if you get pushed too far, we go into a more primitive nervous system defense. And this is, again, a natural thing. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just one of those things that happens. We get very stressed. We go into the freeze state. And what happens then is parts of our body actually lock up and they freeze up, part of a natural response. And you may have heard that in the paper. Someone was attacked. They didn't fight back. They just froze. Okay. And that's because they went into this freeze state. It doesn't have to be your whole body. You can have parts of your body going to freeze. Some organs or some parts of your body can go into freeze. Okay. And that gives you more of a depressed type of feeling where you might feel dissociated, not really kind of in your body properly. You might feel numb. Some parts of your body might feel numb. Okay. And the reason we go into that state is to conserve our energy, to bring everything down. But it's not a very comfortable place for us to be as a mammal. It's okay for reptiles, but not so good for us. Okay, and that can lead to feelings of shame. Oh, I should be coping better. Okay, it's not your fault. It's just your nervous system. And a feeling that you're going to be shut down and everything is kind of hopeless. Okay. Now, what can happen is when you go out of that freeze state and you start to deactivate into the red zone, you can actually feel kind of worse. You feel kind of a bit more rageful, maybe a bit more panicky. And the reason for that is because you're coming out of that numb state, okay? So it's a bit uncomfortable. It's not a nice thing, but it's an essential way of getting from the blue zone back to the green zone, okay? So that's just for those of you who might have a bit of a reaction to what we're doing. Okay, so what we want to do now is find out which zone you think you're in now. I'm gonna publish that now, share it with you, and let's see whether you're in the green zone, the red zone, sympathetic nervous, in the freeze zone, and then you might be in a mixture where you're mainly green and red, so you just go between green and red, or you might be in a mixture where you're up there in the blue zone, you're going down into the red zone. Okay, so let's just see what we've got. Okay, now here we go. This is very interesting because we've got about 25% of you are either in the blue zone or you're going between the red and the blue zone. And that's to be expected because a lot of polls are showing that the prolonged effect of the lockdown has meant that people are going into this kind of depressed state where they're starting to freeze. It doesn't have to be a big shock. It can be a prolonged feeling of stress. Okay. So today's theme is we're going to try and get you out of that freeze state. Even if it's just a small amount of your body, maybe some of your organs just starting to close down a bit, we're going to start freeing those up. And just get you back into the more activated area again. And we're going to use some more shaking techniques. These are very good. We're going to use some doe-in breathing techniques to do it. Okay, so let's just check it in on our burners because we can maybe find out which of the burners might be going into the red or the blue zone. You know, they might be too agitated or they might be a little bit frozen, a bit numb. So we're going to check in as we do every week. If you've got your pen and paper ready, you can draw your three burners. Okay, so let's tune in. Okay, so you can sit or stand, it doesn't matter. And we're going to go internally and we're going to tune in. Okay, so let's do that nice and easy. We're going to close our eyes. Okay, and we're going to go down into the lower abdomen and the lower back, and you can maybe relax your arms and place your hands below your navel. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to tune into those three zones. So we've got the lower zone here. Okay, and I just want you to ask yourself, what is that actually like? Okay, what is it like? Okay, when you get a sense of the lower burner, then you can open your eyes, get hold of your drawing pad and draw or write on the lower half. I'll just go and get mine. And then just so you've got a note of what it's like. Okay, and you can probably remember to previous weeks how it's changed. Okay, very good. So now we're going to go on to the middle burner, which is between the navel and the diaphragm here. That's this whole area here, round into the back. Okay, and we're going to relax and place our hands here and tune in again. So we're going internally with our eyes closed. We're sensing the feeling between the navel and the diaphragm and into the lower thoracic. Okay, very good. What's that like? I'm going to just draw that in the middle burnery bit. Okay, got that. And then finally, the upper burner. So that's this whole lung area and the heart area, this whole upper part of the body. What's that like? Let's find out. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes, tune in internally. Okay, and then when you get a sense of what it's like, you can open your eyes again and then draw it into the upper burner. Okay, and you can probably remember from last week when we did this, or maybe previous weeks, how things have changed. Okay, so now we've got to make a decision as a group, which burner we're going to work on the most. So I'm going to launch the poll. Which burner do you most want to work on today of those three? Okay, let's just see how you're doing as a group. And also the other thing we can do is we can relate the different burners to moving from the freeze state, or just making sure that that freeze state doesn't kind of come in there. Okay. And that'll just help you regulate your nervous system. And because the acupuncture meridians are all connected embryologically with the organs and then with the nervous system, we can use Shiatsu techniques and Qigong techniques just to keep ourselves balanced and to minimize the chance of that freeze state locking us in. Okay, so what have we got? Okay, middle burner comes out tops again, does it? Okay, very interesting. Okay, so let's start off with something a little bit new today, and we're going to do some more familiar exercises as well. We'll work through the burners, and I'll just show you the kind of things you can do to keep your energy moving and to release anything that starts to freeze up. Okay, so let's, I'm just going to adjust the camera so I've got the long, wide view again, and we're going to go back into this. Right, okay, very good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to scan through our body. We're going to see if there's anywhere in our body, and it might be in the burner that you chose, like it might be the middle burner, it could be in the joints, another favorite place. Just want to see if there's anywhere that you feel is starting to just freeze up a bit or become blocked in your body. And we're going to scan down and find out first where that is, okay? So standing, remember how we did the standing? Relaxed standing, connecting down into the earth and connecting up to the heavens. Okay, and now we're going to scan through our body, a bit like a photocopier, just going down through our body, through our head and our neck and the jaw. Okay, feeling our shoulders, feeling our arms, and feeling our chest area. We're going down through the chest area, through the diaphragm, down through the lower hara, the abdomen, down through the hips, through our knees, and down our legs into our feet. Okay, so we scan through our whole body. Now, as you did that, just reflect back. Is there anywhere that you feels a bit stuck? Feels like it needs more movement? Okay, well, we're going to do that with a shaking technique. Now, shaking is really good because it's a natural way that mammals particularly get out of the freeze response. And it can be a spontaneous thing where we're just shaking, like if you've ever had a shock and you've gone into a spontaneous shaking, you'll know. But we can kind of aid that release with an exercise by just doing some shaking techniques. And I'll show you how you do it. What we do is we pick the place in our body that needs to free up, okay? So do that first, close your eyes, go internally and pick one area that you want to release the most inside your body, okay? And then what we do is we use a shaking technique, and we start on very, very slowly and very, very small movements. So I'm just going to do that myself. So pick wherever it is in your body that you want to release, and just slightly shake that area. And start the shaking off where you want to release. Nice and easy. Okay, and we're going to put in some breathing now. And what we're going to do is we're going to emphasize the in-breath and make the out-breath really short. So like, and that will aid the release of the freeze. Nice and easy. Okay, if you feel it's too much for you, you can stop and have a bit of a break. But if it feels good, just keep doing it and make the shaking a little bit stronger. Okay, and then what we're going to do now is open up the area of the shaking. So once you feel that area that you've chosen, wherever it is, starting to move, just keep it nice and loose, keep it shaking, and we're going to spread that out into the rest of the body. And that kind of integrates the area with the rest of your body, okay? So I started off here, and I'm starting to get a bit bigger now. It's taking the shaking out into my body, okay? And you want to get it out into your hips, into your shoulders, okay? If it's too much for you, just take a rest, have a sit down, just even think you're doing it is fine. It still feels good though. You're just going to keep going for a little bit longer, okay? Okay, and now see if you can really loosen up every part of your body and get that shaking to go right through it, down into your fingertips and into your feet. Very good. Okay, excellent. Got that shaking in your whole body, and now we're going to just let it slowly come to an end, the shaking. So it slows up. Okay, and then just relax for a moment. Okay, now check this out. Okay, we're going to go back through the scan again, through the head and jaw, through the neck, through the shoulders and arms, through the chest, okay, through the diaphragm and the abdomen, and then down through the legs and into the feet. All right, now if you just tune back in again, you probably find that that area that was kind of frozen up is starting to release. I wouldn't expect it to completely have gone, but it should have a little bit more movement in it. And that little bit of movement is just starting that process of unfreezing and releasing. And we do the rest of the exercises today. What I'd like you to do is when you get to any exercise that feels like it's helping that area, wherever it is, to unfreeze, you can just gently move into that area by the stretching or whatever you're doing. Okay, cool. So here we go. Let's start off rubbing our hands. Okay, we want to start by doing some work on the lower burner because it's really important for the nervous system. It actually connects up embryologically through here and into the adrenal system. There's actually an embryological connection between here and the adrenal system. And we want to regulate the adrenals because that will help us go from the blue down through the red zone and into the green zone. Okay, so this is really important foundation. We've done this pretty much every week. Really important to do this. So just really focus in on your hands, and we're going to create this small circle here. I'll give you a close up. Okay, on the dantian here. What we're doing actually is we're energizing that lower part of the body, and that really has some very important effects. If you're feeling a little bit ungrounded today, what you can do is, as you're doing this, relax your hips, relax your knees, open up that kidney 1 point on the foot, and feel as if this energizing this area is spreading out down your legs and into your feet. Okay, we're breathing into the lower abdomen, so we're taking it nice and easy. See if you can get that warmth from your hands to go into your abdomen, into the center of your body, and if you need to, down your legs. Okay, very good. Okay, I reckon it's probably about halfway now. You must be getting that warmth going in about halfway. So let's see if you've got your shoulders are relaxed enough. Let's stimulate that point here on the back. This is the kidney U point. It's an excellent point for, again, tonifying this whole area. And again, embryologically, it connects up into the adrenal system. Really important to keep that regulated so you don't get too much into that fight and flight and then too much right over into the blue zone there. So we're just keeping this nice and warm. Again, the heat's going through into the center of the body. Very good. Okay, now because most of you wanted to work on the middle burner, we're going to work on the middle burner again with the legs. So we did this the other week. Very good idea to work on the stomach and spleen. And the reason for that is because often when you get the freeze response, it will stop the digestive system working properly. And that's, again, a natural response because it's part of the way the body shuts down. Okay, so if we can get the digestive system working a bit better, so you feel a bit more appetite and you can feel more relaxed, it's going to be a really good thing to keep you really regulated, to get everything regulated. So that's what we're going to do. So let's bring our hands up first of all in around the navel, and we're going to just rotate our hand around the whole navel area. That's linked to the small intestine organ anatomically. Okay, and then we can make it bigger in a minute around the whole intestines, and especially around here because this is where your stomach is. And if you feel a tightness here or a discomfort around the stomach area, then that's going to be a really good thing for us to release. And if you feel a tightness here, this is around the liver, that's another place that can get affected by the freeze response, because certainly in Chinese medicine it's to do with free flow of energy in the body, and it's really important to keep this whole middle area nice and free. And because most of you, the biggest majority of you, wanted to work on the middle burner, I think that's going to be a really important thing today for us to do. Okay, so nice big circles. Let's get the intestines working, all part of the digestive tubes there. Okay, so let's get that middle burner nice and open and relaxed. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to actually use some doing. First of all, though, we're going to just do some self-shiatsu. I'll show you another channel that we haven't done before. And that's the stomach channel, which runs just around this muscle here, this abdominal muscle, okay? And you can press in around here, just gently pressing in. So this is all around the middle burner here. And then pressing down like this, just around here. Just working down. This is the stomach channel. There's some very important points along this channel that are used for treating digestive problems. Okay, it's just along this abdominal muscle here. Okay, and that's quite a nice thing to do, because what that does is that connects up the stomach channel with where we've worked it a lot, which is along the outside of the legs. Okay, so just get that feeling. Again, if you close your eyes, tune into your middle burner, and just feel that lovely pressure there, opening it up, relaxing the stomach. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's a nice feeling, isn't it? Kind of opening, and it kind of relaxes the middle burner, connects it down into the legs. Very nice use of the stomach channel there. And now let's continue down. Now again, if you're feeling quite kind of obstructed and a bit frustrated and stuff, you want to give quite fast pace and use your loose fists. If you're feeling a bit weak and deficient, then you want to use cupping on the channels and keep it much slower. Okay, because you want to tonify up that channel. Okay, I'm kind of in the middle, so I guess I'll probably do it something like this. You can adjust it to your own needs. All right, so we're coming up as high as we can on the legs. We're going down the outside of the stomach channel. Remember this one? Remember this 3 mile point just below the knee on the outside of the shin? Okay, this is a great point for regulating digestion. Again, there's embryological connections up through these facial planes directly into the stomach. So we can stimulate the digestive system and the general energy of the body just below the knee there, down. And then coming up the inside, front of the legs. This is another digestive channel. Yeah? Okay, right, so let's do that again. Let me just give you a bit of a close-up. We're going down the outside, stomach 36, the 3 mile point just below the knee. And up. And down again. Okay, very good. Okay, and then we're going to brush off the front of our legs here. All right, good. Let's check in, right? Let's see. Okay, closing my eyes now. Wow, doesn't that feel nice? Can you feel how the middle burn is connected through the abdomen now in a really nice way? And then the legs feel kind of light but energized. And that's really, really good. Okay, so we have the stomach. Okay, remember we've got the stomach and we've also got the liver. Liver in Chinese medicine, we've talked about this before, really important on an emotional level to keep everything flowing. Okay, and it's the liver meridian in Chinese medicine, one of the favorites for the freeze response to happen. Okay, so let's make sure we free that up. And we're going to do it with our friend, the twisting exercise. And again, if you're feeling a bit weak and you need to take it really easy, just keep the swinging nice and easy. Don't do it too strong. Breathe into it and just allow yourself a bit of space there. Now, if you're feeling a bit frustrated or you feel you've got an obstruction there in the channel, maybe it's really blocked here, you want to go a bit more vigorously into it. Twist the body. Okay, and you can even bring this up here and start just giving yourself a bit of a hit on the side of the body like this. So we're going like that, hitting side of the body like this. This is the liver channel. Yeah, okay, and we're keeping our hips towards the front because we want that twist around here. You want to feel the twist around the middle burner. Okay, that's it. Okay, if you're starting to feel a bit dizzy, you can always close your eyes. Okay, great. Okay, very good. All right, so we're going to come back to the front center again. And now we're going to do some doing again on the liver channel, liver and gallbladder channels. And they run on the side of the body, run around here, around the side of the ribs. So it's a good idea to start off here with a bit of a tap. Right here, I'm just using the flat of my hands. You can use your fists as well if you want a little bit more of a strong stimulation. Okay, and then it goes down here, goes into the, right into the hips, here, back of the hips. And we go down the outside. Again, depending on whether you want it tonifying, or sedating, moving, or tonifying, depending on whether you're feeling a bit weak or a bit blocked. Okay, go down the outside of the legs and up the inside. When we get to this part of the leg, you want to make sure you get behind this adductor muscle here. There's this big adductor muscle, you can probably feel that. You want to be right behind that. That's where the liver channel runs. Okay, it runs right in and it goes right through into the abdominal cavity and connects with the internal organs. Okay, so right around the back of that muscle there, that's the liver channel. We go round again onto the hips. Let's do a bit more on the sides. 3 times. Okay, if it's too much for you, just take a sit out and just imagine you're doing it, or just breathe and imagine you're doing it. Take it nice and easy because it's quite strong work, but it's designed to keep your energy moving to make sure you don't get into that freeze state. Okay, so go down. Okay, very good. So now brushing off down the sides, inside. Okay, middle burner workout, wasn't it? Hey? Okay, so let's see what's happened now. We're going to close our eyes and just go into that middle burner there with your hands. Place your hands on that area. Okay, what does that feel like? Pretty good, right? And if we just bring our arms to the sides so you can feel the middle burner in relation to your other burners, doesn't that feel good? Nice and moving, you see, and that's what we want. We want that area to feel like it's really moving. Okay, brilliant. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the upper burner. Now the upper burner can go into freeze. The lungs in Chinese medicine are related to grief, and if you've got any grieving going on, that can cause a kind of freeze state. Often you get that pain in the upper back, around the upper thoracic. You might get stiffness around the upper part of the chest. The other thing that can happen is the heart, pericardium and the heart channels can go into like a freeze state, and then you get this kind of tight feeling, or like a heavy tight feeling around the actual heart organ. Okay, and that's another thing that can happen. So we don't really want that. We want the heart to be nice and released, and we want this all to be open and moving. So let's do something about that. Okay, we've got this middle burner nicely opened up, got the lower burner energized now. So now it's just a case of getting the upper burner quite a bit more open, and then we can start integrating the whole thing together. Okay, so let's start off by doing some tone for the lung channel. Okay, the lung channel runs internally through the lungs, comes out just in front of the shoulder here. I'll give you a close up. It comes out around here. This is lung 1, this point. Okay, and then it runs through here, down the arm, onto the thumb, and then it changes into large intestine channel and runs up here. So mainly what we're going to be doing is working this area here. Check this out, okay? If you just close your eyes and tune into how your lungs feel right now. Okay, and tune into how your heart feels. Okay, and then we'll do some exercises on the upper burner, and we'll check back in 5-10 minutes and see what's happened. Right, let's get some energy into that lung channel. Lungs are really important because obviously air is really important, and emotional state, especially the freeze state, reduces your breathing, and that's a natural thing, because when we were prey animals back in evolution, and the lion would get hold of an antelope when we were antelopes, and we went into a freeze state, we obviously didn't want to show the prey animal that we were breathing, because then they would think we were alive and would get eaten. The freeze response is a way that mammals protect themselves from prey animals, so the breathing rate goes right down. If the prey animal finds that they think the animal's dead because they're not breathing and they're frozen, they go on and they go off somewhere else. So it's a last ditch defense that we have to protect ourselves. Okay, it's a completely natural thing. Not very good for mammals though, because we need oxygen in the brain to keep our mind going and to keep alive. So a really important thing is to check your breathing and to energize the lungs via the lung channel. And here's a great exercise to do that. Let's get that upper burner working. We're going to do this exercise. We're going to breathe in. This is a natural yawning position, but look what happens. You stretch up towards the thumbs, and that opens the lung channel. Okay, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Can you feel that? Look, if you pull the thumb slightly backwards and up, you can feel line of tension all the way down into here. And that's the lung channel, connects right into the lungs. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, great. Started. Can you feel that? A little bit of tingling down there into the thumb. Very good. We've opened up the channel. So now let's really activate it with some doing. And we're going to work from lung 1 down here, right down to lung 11, which is right at the end of the lung channel. Pretty much all the points here are used to increase the breathing. So let's do it, okay? Great way of energizing the lungs as well is to make a sound. So we can make this kind of sound while we're pressing on, while we're stimulating lung 1. See, I'm working around here. Get that sound right into the lungs. Very good, okay? And then we're going to go down the channel. Again, either slow cupping if you feel a bit weak, or if you feel you really want to get things going, you feel quite strong, maybe a bit blocked, then we're going to use faster technique and use the loose fists. Okay, so we use the fingertips, loose fists, or this cupping thing, like this. And get down here onto the hand, and then the channel runs down the thumb, and then we can hold onto the thumb like that and just pull it off like that. Okay, great. Okay, really good. So now let's go back here again. Your neighbours will think something very strange is happening, right? And then we go down into the elbow. Some important points around here. There's an important point right around here. It goes down, okay, and onto the hand, and then we just pull the thumb. Okay, nice. Okay, one more time. Down the channel and into the thumb again. Okay, right, here we go. Okay, here's a little hint about breathing as well. If you think you're in the freeze state, you want to emphasize the in-breath. So, okay, and the reason for that is because the breathing is directly linked to the nervous system, okay? And basically, the in-breath is related to the sympathetic nervous system, and the out-breath is related to the parasympathetic, okay? So depending on where you are, it has different effects. If you're in the red zone and you want to get into the green zone, you want to emphasize the out-breath. Just try that. Okay, doesn't that feel calming, right? Okay, you can feel yourself going from that red zone into the green zone. But if you're stuck in the blue zone, okay, and your breathing's blocked and stuff like that, then that's not going to help, because what's going to happen is this. It's just going to emphasize the feeling that you're stuck, okay? So that's when you need more vigorous breathing, and you want to emphasize the in-breath. So this is how you do it, okay? If you're in the blue zone, you want to get to the red zone and back out down to the green. It's more like this. Okay, so can you feel that? You're emphasizing the in-breath, and that has a kind of energizing effect. That will get you out of the blue zone and into the red zone. And if you feel like you're a bit sluggish in the green zone, you want to get a bit more active, then it will stimulate you, okay? Because the blue zone and the green zone are part of the parasympathetic nervous system, okay? The bits that calm us down. The green zone is kind of a healthy calming down, and the blue zone is a kind of not really such a good idea for a long time type of calming down, because it's a freezing feeling. All right, so that's just a hint on how you can use your breathing, okay, to get from the zones. Did you get that? Okay, so long exhalation to get from the red zone to the green zone, long inhalation if you want to start moving the freeze state and getting into the red zone, and hopefully then you can get back down and deactivate yourself down. Okay, check this out. Close your eyes. Notice any difference? Okay, pretty different, right? Can you feel that side we've just worked? Feels really tingly, right, and open. That's what we really want. Okay, so let's do the other side and get it as good as that one. Okay, let's do some sounds. Get down. Fun. And down to the thumb again. One more time. Okay, check this out. We're going to release any obstruction in here with this technique, leaning forwards, okay? And we're doing this. Okay, now we're making a sound on the exhalation, but you notice the inhalation is much longer. Okay, so that's going to be a good way of energizing the nerves related to the breathing, and it's going to be a good way of getting any freeze that's starting to creep in there in the lungs. Okay, make sense? Good. Right, so now we're going to move on to the heart and the heart protector or pericardium channels. And these are really great if you start to get an emotional freeze response, which basically often you feel around the heart. You might find a kind of tension around there, or a heaviness or solidity. You might start getting symptoms like palpitations and things like that. A really good way of making sure you can regulate that yourself. And we do it through the pericardium channel and the heart channel, which run on the inside of the arm here, okay? So let's do a couple of stretches for those channels, like we did with the lungs, and then we'll do some doing, and I'll show you some points, all right? So this one, remember this one, this is for the pericardium. We lean forwards like this, stretch into the middle finger, breathing in, and slowly come back, breathe out. Okay, I'm stretching back, and the side view is like this. I'm stretching open this middle finger, okay? Holding it, and then relax. Shaking out, breathing in, breathe out. Very good. Okay, relax. One more. Breathing in, breathing out. Very good. And then relaxing. Okay. Now, I'll show you another one for the heart. Remember when we've done this one before? Quite a few times, haven't we? I'll show you another one, which is really, really good as well. You'll feel this. You bring your arms out to the side. You put up your little finger. So you raise your little finger up like this, okay? Okay, that's where the heart channel runs to. And then to open the channel, all we do is we breathe in, we breathe out, and twist. I'm twisting this hand round this way. Can you see that? In fact, that's a very good view of my heart channel opening up. Look. Can you see how I'm opening it up? And you can feel that right through into the armpit. And that's where the heart channel runs from. It runs from the armpit down into the little finger. All right. So it's a little bit of a strong stretch, and take it easy. Again, if it's too much for you, just do it once, or just sit and imagine you're doing it. Okay, so we bring the little finger up, breathing in, breathe out, and rotate the arm round. Can you feel that? Into the elbow and then into the armpit. That's the heart channel. So you want to keep that nice and relaxed. Okay, and then relaxing down. Yeah, do it again. Little finger up, most. There we go. Okay, one more time. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's nice, isn't it? You can feel it opening up into the armpit. So now it's time to do the doing, and we'll do both. We'll do the pericardium and the heart channel. We're just going to use the fingertips for these channels because they're a little bit more delicate. They go straight into the internal organ here. So it's best just to use the fingertips. This is the pericardium channel. We're going towards the middle finger here. If I can make it work. There we are. Okay, so we go down. Center of the palm, yeah. And as you do this, you want to keep it really relaxed and see if you can feel a connection into your chest, into the channel. You may even be able to find certain places relaxing the heart. If you've got any tightness around your heart area, you go down, you might even be able to feel certain places that feel they're relaxing this area. And that means you're finding an acupuncture point, or what's called a subo, which is like a access into the channel. Certain places into the channel can give you like a calming effect. So it's another way you can do it, is to make it a little bit more directed by tuning in and picking the best places to calm and open this area up. Okay, and we do the same thing with the heart channel. That's a little bit further around. It runs around down the back of the arm and into here. And same thing again. Let's just tune into this area and then just carefully go down. Find an area, like for me, I can feel it here. It feels it's kind of calming and opening this area. You see what I'm doing? I'm tuning internally to this feeling in the chest, connecting it with the channel. It's the kind of thing we do all the time when we're doing shiatsu. When we give you a shiatsu treatment, we're doing that kind of thing all the time, tuning into an area that needs work or needs changing, and we're finding points along the channels and tuning in and finding out the best points to create balance within your body. Again, you can do the same kind of thing yourself by tuning in and feeling the effects of particular places down the channel. Okay, very good. Okay, that feels pretty different, doesn't it? Okay, nice and relaxed. And we do the same thing the other side. So fingertips again. Keeping your awareness in your upper chest area, around the heart. Seeing if you can find anywhere down these channels that really has an opening and relaxing and calming effect on the heart. Okay, and then you can spend a little bit more time on those and skip over the ones that the areas that don't seem to be doing so much. And that, by the way, is how the acupuncture points were discovered back in the day. Back in the midst of time in China and Japan, people would be working like this internally using qigong exercises, and they discovered that certain places in the body had certain effects internally, and then they were mapped out, and that's how we got the acupuncture points that we know today. They're all experienced directly by people doing this kind of stuff that we're doing now. So here we go, down we go. This is the heart channel. I'm going towards the little finger. You notice that quite often it's around the wrists and around the joints that are the most effective places to work. And if you read Dan Keown's book, he's got an explanation for that from an embryological point of view of why a lot of important acupuncture points are located around the joints. It's all to do with the way that the facial planes evolved and how they're connected to the internal organs. Okay, very interesting. So here we go. Shaking out. Okay, so that's it. That's an upper burner workout. Okay, we've done the lungs, we've done the pericardium, we've done the heart. Okay, so let's check in again. Remember how your upper burner felt a little bit earlier, about 10-15 minutes ago? Close your eyes now and tune into your lungs and your heart. And look what we've got. You notice the lungs feel more energized. They feel like they're more active. That's really important for getting you out of the freeze because you need that breath to be going in there, okay? And notice the heart doesn't feel quite so heavy. It feels a little bit more like it's moving and a little more activated. And that's, again, exactly what we want to keep that upper burner from going into the freeze state. Okay, excellent. So we've just got like 5 minutes left. So I think that what we really need to do now, we've done lower heater, legs, middle burner, middle heater, twisting and stomach. We've done the upper burner. So let's just do a little bit of work on the yang channels of the head and neck just to finish off. Okay, so we can do a nice routine for the head. Try this. We haven't done this before. This is a nice technique. Place your hands on the forehead and then you turn your head like this. So you're kind of just rubbing your forehead, but you're not moving your hands. Okay, bring your head to the front, pressing out. Gently pressing over your eyes. Just pressing around the jaw. How about this? This is a good place to work, just around the jaw here, the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Very good, okay? You can just press or rub across the sides of the head and then tapping along the top of the head here. This is the bladder and the gallbladder channels, if you're interested to know what channels these are. And these go down the back of the neck. And then we can work them like this, using the heels of the hand, going right into there. Okay, and then once we've got that energy moving from the face down to the neck, then it's a good idea just to tap the shoulders. Both sides. Okay, and then you really want to get that energy from the shoulders and the neck down the arms, down the outside of the arms. So I'm just patting just down the whole outside of the arms, just all the yang channels of the arm, just to get movement down away from the shoulder. Very good. And then the other side. Okay, and then one last shaking out. You can take all this, any tension that we've released in this whole area here, and throw it out down our arms like this. Okay, very good. Okay, now remember back about 40 minutes ago, you found an area to shake, didn't you? You found somewhere in your body that felt a bit blocked and it felt kind of a little bit immobile. And also, many of you found your middle burner didn't feel right. So let's just check in again and see what we've managed to do in the last 40 minutes or something. So we're going to stand, again, so nice and relaxed, and we're going to scan down through our body, so through the head, jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, through the chest, okay, through the diaphragm and into the abdomen, and through the hips, down through the hips, down through the knees, and down through the feet. Okay, remember that part that you needed to shake before? Doesn't it feel different now? There's two reasons for that. One is because we started the movement with the shaking. The second thing is because we worked all of those burners. And if you check into your burners now, you'll see what I mean, okay? So let's check into the lower burner. Okay, nicely energized with a nice connection into the earth there, okay? Middle burner, definitely some change, okay? Even if it was a bit blocked before, you should feel a bit of a change there and quite a lot more movement. We had quite a good workout for the upper burner today. So if you tune into the lungs and the heart, what you really want to feel is a nice feeling of breath coming in, breathing coming in, and the heart just feeling a little bit more relaxed and not so tight, if that's how it felt for you in the beginning. Okay, so it's shaking, releasing, and regulating the burners. Okay, well done, excellent. Okay, so hopefully that's going to help you. And the reason we designed that this week was because we read some research that shows that some of the long-term effects of the lockdown have been people moving a little bit more into the blue zone there. So we want to give you some techniques so you can make sure that doesn't happen too much to you, and you can kind of get out of that state early on. Okay, you can practice this every day. Keep yourself healthy the Shiatsu way. So just let us know whether you felt more balanced than you did 40 minutes ago, about the same, or you feel less balanced. So let's see what we've got. Okay, not doing too badly at all this week. We've got 94%, 95% of you feel more balanced, and about 7% about the same. That probably happens if you're feeling a little bit deficient. You want to take it really easy. Maybe only don't do, just do slightly less of the exercises, and also just practice them for a small amount each day, and that'll help you keep balanced. Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's been a great morning. I've really enjoyed it. As you can probably guess, I do these just as much for me as I do for everyone else. I really look forward to these Wednesday sessions. Let me just quickly put up the, we've done all the burners, we've done the exercises, and we've got these slides about the immune system, which I can talk to you about another time. We've talked about this before. And we've got, if you do need extra help, we've got self-Shiatsu supervision, where we basically do a similar thing to what we've just done, but we tailor it exactly for you. And we use all kinds of different techniques depending on how you're doing. If you want to book in with any of us, just go to the shiatsucentre.co.uk, and you've got links there into our diary. You can book a session one-to-one, and we can do it with video on Zoom, and we can record it for you, so you've got recording. Okay, so that's a really useful thing. If you feel you need more help than these Wednesday classes, please book a self-Shiatsu. Also, some of us have been trained in distance healing, which means basically you just relax and we tune into you at a distance. That's like an advanced technique that we can do. And we record that and send that to you as well. And that's quite a popular option at the moment if you want that, okay? You may have heard that we've actually, during the COVID crisis, we've actually stopped taking individual payments now, and we're sharing all the money out amongst the team. We're all working for the same rate, and it's all on donations only. So if you are really in financial problems, don't worry. You can just attend the class and even take a session, and we'll cover that for you. But if you are okay with money and you would like to keep help us keep the lights on here and keep the camera rolling, we really appreciate it. And I know that many of you have been very, very generous with the donations, and that's been amazing for us. We literally couldn't have done it without you. So thank you to all of those of you who've been regularly donating. It really has made a difference. Okay, and you can donate by just going to shiatsucentre.co.uk, and you'll find a button there, PayPal, or you can use a credit card as well on that through PayPal. Okay, and you can always contact Shakura at admin@shiatsucentre.co.uk. Okay, we did really well this week because none of you felt less balanced. So it was obviously worked really well. I'm really relieved about that. But if you do feel a bit funny after the exercises or you need help, do get in touch with us. Okay, so we offer those treatments for a donations only basis, and we're going to keep going as long as those very generous donators that we have can keep us doing that. Okay, great. So see you next week. Okay, and if you know any key workers or anyone who could benefit from these classes, we do have room. Just let them know, and they can just log in through the Shiatsu Centre site. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Kat for looking after the chat. Thank you very, very much. And Kat's session that she did last week was so popular. We're going to get her back in next week because all of you wanted to see Kat again. Have a great week, and we'll see you here again next week. I'm going to close up the session. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, bye. Have a great week.